Well, I wanted to wait till I got underway. I had a bit of a catastrophe today. This will be the last time you will see this blue coat on my body. I like this blue coat, but unfortunately for this blue coat, it got super glue from the trotting hobbles on it. Sorry, Bluey. This will be it. This is a swan song for the blue coat. So, I made up 3 sets of trotting hobbles real quick to bring over to Ohio. I've never got it on my clothing. I don't know how it ended up on my coat, but it did. And unfortunately, I'll take the blame for it, but this coat will be no longer after today. Get up today. I knew the track was either going to be falling apart at 10 o'clock, just the weather. You know, somebody said, well, what can they do for it? It's like a sponge with dirt on top of it. It is soaked with water right now. It needs about 4 days of warm weather. Like you guys saw the dust the other day on the track, but underneath that was still a little bit of ice, right? There was dust on top of ice. So what needs to happen is we get into April, we drag the stone dust that we conditioned off with the snow. A lot of it's in the ditch. Drag it out, put more stone dust on it. But this happens after the ice comes out, after the thaw. You know, it's starting to thaw now, but there's still frost to come out of the track. You need about 4 days, +8 to +12, 15, to say that it's starting to get better. That's what you need. So, you know, we knew we weren't going to train today anyway. Still had a couple of sick horses in the barn that we were addressing. We trained hard on Saturday, like hard enough on Saturday. So giving a Wednesday off, really, I didn't care. And we had 10 to train at Mohawk today. So between James and I and most of Amy and Dominic's barn going, Harry had some going, Jason had some going, a lot of the people were not at the firm. So I just said, no, we're not going to train today. I got there, the track was hard, but you knew it was going to loosen up real quick, real fast, around 10 o'clock. So again, what were you going to do, train half the barn? I just called it and said no training today, which I was perfectly fine with. I looked at the long-range forecast. There's a lot of days with rain. I know the track's going to fall apart. It's going to be tough to get real, consistent training schedule into these horses over the next 2 weeks, but this is Canada. We go through this every year this time of year. So I got thinking there's a couple of horses that I might want to actually turn them out for a couple of weeks. Now's the time. I was saying Enzo, I might turn Enzo out for a couple of weeks. Horses that have been good all along. That maybe, you know, I'm shying away from them. Even though Enzo's a stud, I don't want to turn them out and let them get really studdy and sharp. But I would like to give them a little break. So there may be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 horses that find themselves to the field. Landing Strip, another one. Still haven't got him to the vet. Got to get him to the vet and then get him to the field, I think, for a couple of weeks. He'd be one also. Maybe even Landing Pad. Horses that have really worked hard and wanted to work hard and maybe even be rewarded with, you know, a week or 2 off. So that's where my mindset was this morning when I woke up. No training. Are we going to turn some horse out? I was really trying to look at the weather and say, is this going to be conducive to training, or am I going to reflect back on this in 2 weeks and say, geez, I should have given those horses 2 weeks off? So I think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to go with the first one and say I'm going to give a couple of them, maybe 2, 3, 4 of them, 5 of them, a couple of weeks off. But we'll see. That is subject to change easily. But today was all about going to Mohawk. A couple of big name horses training today. We were going to get our first look at Patrick the Piranha A on the track at Mohawk. I forgot to ask James how much he went. I suspect he went around 2 minutes or 2:1, maybe 2:2. I said 2:6, and I couldn't believe it. James said, what do you want me to go, like 2 minutes? He's racing in 3 days. We want him tight. We want him trained hard. He's going to have to race against the best horse in Canada. I was surprised. James opted for a more aggressive training trip. Now, the horse did it easy, 4 even quarters for the most part. Pretty good last 8. He opened him up pretty good. And I asked him after, I said, what do you think? He said, oh, he's fast. He's a fast horse. So James is pretty pumped and enamored with him. So I guess we'll stay on Dominic's barn. We had 5 going to Mohawk to train today from Dominic's barn. We had 2 from Jason's barn and 3 from Harry's barn. 10 horses trained today. I had a Zoom call I had to be on. So I didn't miss any of them training, but I couldn't go with all of them I wanted to. I went with 2 horses, and they went in sets also, except for Patrick, stay close trained. I'll get to him in a minute. But they went in sets of 3. We went with Eyes of 10, Unbeatable Kemp, and Blue Bayou Dio. Eyes of 10 was good. If I was going to say, if you asked me quickly one word to describe the training today, she was a little bit flat. But again, nothing really wrong with her. was happy with what I saw. She just wasn't as good as Blue Bayou Dio, and Unbeatable Kemp was bionic. I know Dominic came out from between us in the middle and was wrapped up going under the wire, but I had to almost pull LD's Patrick over backwards. Unbeatable Kemp over backwards. Get to Patrick in a minute too. Unbeatable Kemp over backwards to stay right there beside them. He was exceptionally good. I had a message from somebody the other day asking why we didn't have many more open stakes. You know, we had some soundness issues with him last year. We had that bleeding issue, and I thought between New Jersey and Kentucky that was more than enough for him. And I guess, do I wish I put him in more now? Maybe. I suppose when I write that check next week, that'll be negated pretty quick. But he was very, very good. So he's paid up completely in Kentucky and New Jersey. So lots of racing for Unbeatable Kemp. He was very, very good. Blue Bayou Dio was exceptionally good today too. Both those horses are coming back good. It could just be the fact that Isa 10's not as good as those two. And she isn't as good as those two. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a nice Ohio filly that's going to do us some good. But Blue Bayou Dio and Unbeatable Kemp, they've already shown miles at 54. So maybe I'm reading a little too much into that last eighth of a mile with those three horses. Those three horses trained well. Very happy with them. Jameson out trained. Stay close. I said, I just got done telling Steve. So LD's Patrick and Stay Close. Similar gaits. Stay Close is a bigger horse. Similar gaits, both by Father Patrick. Both look the same, so I shot them the same. And not only did I shoot them the same, LD's Patrick and Stay Close wear the identical equipment. The exact same equipment card. Now, obviously, the hobbles are a little different and whatnot, but the exact same equipment card. Stay Close was very, 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 very strong today. James was really happy with Stay Close. Very good training mile for him. He will be tight. He will be sharp coming into Monday. I hope we can get him in the Nowners of 40 because we just have too many horses for the Nowners of 5 right now. We'll talk about another Nowners of 5 horse in a minute. Now, Stay Close does have a win in his last start at Dead Heat in the Nowners of 3, I believe, at the Meadowlands. But he has $41,000 made. I mean, they could open it up $2,000. They only had 6 or 7 horses in it last week. So I hope he gets in the Nowners of 40. It would be nice to get a nice start with him. And I'll tell you why. We have other news in just a minute. Talking about a series coming up in Miami Valley before the Hackett. So tons going on right now at the stable, and I mean a lot. So we got through Dominic's barn. The 3-year-olds were good. All 3 of them trained very good. As I said, I felt that Isa 10 was a little flat, but now that I talk it through, maybe she wasn't. I just don't know if she wants any part ever of those other 2. Unbeatable Kemp and Blue Bayou Dio were very, very, very good. They'll school next Friday. Probably ready to go a mile in 2 minutes, 2:1, something like that. Stay Close was very good, and then James with Patrick the Piranha said he was going to go a mile in 2 minutes. I forgot to ask him how fast he went. It doesn't matter. He was very enamored with him when he came off the track. He said he is fast. So hung up good, acclimated well to Ontario. We got new shoes on him. We're now starting to take the corks off everything. All the horses that trained this morning, except for the 3-year-olds, maybe they need to be done. But Patrick the Piranha, no corks on. Stay Close, just trotting, grab on, but no corks on. Both those horses were very good. Wanted to go a good mile with Royston's Punch. I was still on my Zoom call. I wanted to go with him, but I said, James, just go with him and see what you think. If you're not comfortable with him, don't go a full mile. Pull him up. We'll tinker with him. He went the full mile. He went a mile in 58. He said he was good. You know, he's just not as flashy and strong as LD's Patrick or as Levitor was when we bought him, or Stay Close. And he was more expensive than all 3 of those horses. But at the end of the day, I still think those 3 were grossly underpaid for. And I think we still underpaid a little bit for Royston's Punch, but closer to fair market value for him. Of those 4 horses, I would say in order, looking at what I saw today, Stay Close, LD's Patrick, Levitor, and Royston's Punch. All 4 nice horses. Very nice horses, all 4 of them. But that's how I would see them ranked right now, truthfully. So Royston's Punch, a good mile in 58, last half 57 and a bit. James was happy with him. Captain Mike Dio trained today also. I didn't know how he beat by himself. This is a horse that Sylvain School told me to castrate him because he was sulky and sour. You know, goes out and wins his last start, looked good. James talked me into even remotely thinking about selling him. You know, because we would turn a very good profit on Captain Mike Dio right now. James said, no, don't sell him. So I was curious, how's he going to train by himself at Mohawk? I was going to go with him, but as I said, I couldn't couldn't. 58, last half 58, wrapped up going under the wire. I said to James, how was he? He said, surprisingly, very, very good. So, very happy. Again, a great training day across the board. We still had 3 to go with. So I didn't know who Harry brought over. I get looking now. High Gear No Fear he brought there. I was surprised. Arches Rainbow. I was so happy to see her there also. And then we also had Taiwan on over. I didn't know she was that close. I trained High Gear No Fear with Chris at Arches Rainbow. We went a mile in 2:6 last half and 1:1 last quarter in 30 and a bit. So it was a challenge for me to go that slow with High Gear No Fear. He wasn't crabby, he was smart, but he was feeling good. So we kind of just sauntered down the lane. You know, this horse on the market went 55, trotted 54 before. He was very strong and wanting to get at it, but at the same time, I think he understood. Some horses just know. The other filly was trying to grind up alongside him. She did her work. She's going to need a little more work, but I was very happy with both of those horses today. And then I went out with Taiwan on. I could have went as fast as I wanted with Taiwan on. She was so good. No trotting hobbles, and she won't need them either. She looked like a 2.0 version of herself last year. She was strong, fast, confident. She looked very, very good today at Mohawk. I only went a mile in 2:7 and 3, I think, Harry. What I said to Harry. 7 and 3 last half and 1:1. She could have went a mile in 2 minutes with a bow in her neck. She was exceptionally good. So 10 for 10. As I said, the worst point of the day was Isa 10 was a bit flat. And as I said to you a minute ago, it might not be that she was flat. You know, we were trotting really hard on the end of it. Maybe she just can't trot with those other 2 horses. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are 2 very good horses. But that was the lowest of the low today. Was her. And she was pretty good. So a great day at Mohawk training the horses, the race horses, the sophomores, some of the race horses back. Got a real good look at Patrick the Piranha. Got a real good look at Stay Close. Might want to do some investigating on the backstory behind Stay Close. He looked very good today. Who else? Nobody trained at the farm for the most part. A couple of the horses that needed training trips. Johnny went with Dream and a Credit. He was pulling up and acting up the whole way. You know, you guys know where he stands. He's on my short list. He's gonna have to start putting his act together. I didn't see any of the other horses go, but everybody jogged. Everybody looked good. Now we weren't without some bad news. We always have some. GJ's ATM got cast in the stall and he's got a big leg. He's pretty sore on it, so he's gonna need a week or 2. But it could always be worse. I've seen horses break their legs in the stalls, and they jogged him today, and he was tender on it, but he certainly didn't look like a horse with a broken leg. So he's just going to need a little time. That happens. It'll come. You can take the 2 weeks that maybe he would have got the field to recover, I guess. And I'll look into, I'm going to think more about it on this drive if I want to turn some horses out, who they are, and on what grounds would I turn them out. You know, we have 2 horses swimming right now that were a little pinchy in Absolute Euphoria and Outlaw Jesse James. Those horses have now gone to the pool to swim for a month. Starting to take a look at what's coming up. Who's going to have our horses in New York? Who's going to have our horses in New Jersey? I get emails every day about this, so I'm going to make it very clear. I don't know yet. I don't know what we're going to do for Pennsylvania. I know that Tim will have them at the Meadows, but when you start going down to the Poconos in Philadelphia, I can't really keep asking them to, jump in the truck and take them down the day before. They should be stationed down there. In a perfect world, what I would like to see is Tim have all the PA horses that are close to the Meadows, ship them down to somebody else, ship them back to the Meadows, and then of course we also have the concern of Kentucky. So I'm actively looking for active participants to work with us in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Some of the horses, brace for landing, and some of those top horses that are supposed to be top horses at some point will likely go to bigger outfits, right? We can transplant them in pretty easy. But when it comes to the stable.ca, we want to keep a close eye on most of our horses. So I am looking at all of our options. Everything is on the table, as they say, at right now in regards to the young horses. Now, I'm confident between March, what's today's day, 10th, 9th? Between March 9th and June 1st, I will have all those problems solved, but I'm not going to rush into anything just yet. So, very happy with the trainers today. On my way to Ohio, Voyage of Ice and Fire finished 3rd last night, raced okay. We sold them after the race. We're racing 3 horses tonight. Mama Knows Best, Jekyll and Hyde, and who's the other one? Jekyll and Hyde, and those 3 racing tonight, coming back tomorrow. We got a ton to qualify. I don't know if we have a ton to qualify. We have at least 1, and a whole bunch more to school and train tomorrow in Ohio. And then I come back. We're back at supper time. I got a number of horses to qualify in school at Mohawk also. Then we're going to try and get the baby training in Saturday. It's going to be a cold one on Saturday, and it looks like it's going to be the last cold day for at least the foreseeable future. Maybe we'll turn the corner after Saturday. So that is it. A huge update here from me. Your midweek update video. Great training day at Mohawk. Lots coming up. Lots of horses ready to go. We'll talk to you all very soon.